kia ora, aloha, bonjour, ciao, ni hao, g'day mate. Wherever you're viewing this video from around the world, welcome to February or Second Earth Predictions for 2013. My January series showed incredible accuracies, especially with the Liberation card, which is that card there. I've now tied in Australian activities to that card. The serpent or the snake at the bottom of this card highlighted me to that when I was doing the reading last time. And as well, I've tied in severe flooding, huge fleeing for various reasons, and prison related issues as well. And I think that also gives us a fair indication of a feeling of prison. So if you want to see the video link for the previous Earth series prediction, the January one, the link will be below this video. Let's move into this reading. The first card that arrived is the cave card. Now, the last time this card was present in a reading, we had the Sandy cyclone hit the eastern seaboard or side of the USA. And although the libido card was present in that reading as well, which showed a really strong tie of energies for a very big potential event, there is a second card in this reading that also portends to a large weather event occurring. So when I pulled these cards yesterday, I did get a feeling of a big event, a weather-related event occurring, probably up in the northern hemisphere, that will have a similar energy to it that the Sandy energy had. So we get a lot of feeling of people hunkering down. That was the word I used for that card, for that particular reading, is the hunkering down. You can see that person hiding, so it's like they go within to shelter, so they're going underground, or they're just caught out and they're hunkering down for the best they can for this something around them that creates that feeling. And the other energy that comes with it is they're hiding. There's darkness, so there could be loss of power. There's tunnels affected, or inner earth issues such as quakes, volcanoes, the feeling of being lost or separated from someone or something, your partner, your family. So feelings of separation, underground issues, sinkholes maybe, the volcanoes. And I do get a lot of feeling that has to do with northern hemisphere. We'll see how that plays out. The second card that arrived was the Father card. Interestingly enough, I also got feelings of Sandy with this, but not so much Sandy the cyclone, but the Sandy Hook energies to do with the shootings. And I'm not quite sure why that kept coming up for me. So I get a feeling again of similar repeated issues of that. The shootings involved, we have men involved with it, and also children affected. So we're going to see more perhaps of the mass shooting events, and possibly around the USA. There could be other parts of the world where that is also affected. Yeah, I think the whole of the USA has got a major problem with this gun issue. It's almost as if now it's being pushed upon you to do something about it. I think that's really got to be rectified this year in one way or another, so that perhaps the people who use the guns for the hobbies can still retain that, but for the people who don't need them for hobbies, it can be removed from them to a certain degree. Okay, the other issues that come out with the Father card are things falling from the sky, planes, asteroids, meteorites, things like that, pointing to the sky. So activities to do with planets, planet watch alignments, activities to do with the sky around it, and us looking up at the sky. So whether or not we get new information again pertaining to knowledge coming from our satellites or going up into space, something to do with space related issues. Let's hope it's not North Korea pointing that missile that they are wanting to do their test on. We'll see. Okay, the third card that arrived was the tree. I can't help myself with this card when it arrives. It is so red. It really does just point to one thing, and it's not difficult to guess, is it? It's fire related matters. We have had so many fires down here in the southern hemisphere over our extremely hot summer, both in Australia and New Zealand. We're still both on fire watch, and I don't think that is about to finish, so I think February will continue to see fire activity for both of our countries. We will still see both with hot weather, winds, strong winds. The other thing that the tree card also brings in is to do with family issues, and I think that ties back again to the Sandy Hook feeling. It's all about the family tree and your genetics or what's happening in families. There could be some, disappointment for, especially if you're a parent of someone who commits an act like the Sandy Hook shootings. It must be a devastating thing to have to go through. So I get that feeling of families involved in the tree card as well, and not necessarily in a happy way. It's a sad way. It's like, oh, the heartbreak that these type of issues can cause for people involved. I also think forest issues with the tree, and that can be up in the northern hemisphere as well, so something to do with our forests as well as fires, and so forests in a different manner. The fourth card that arrived was the birth card. Now this is the other card that I'm tying in the reading to the cave card, bringing in low pressure weather systems. And if you look, that sky in the background, it's not just a pale blue inactive sky, it's full of movement. That whole sky is really cloudy and moving and wet. It's incredibly wet, loaded with water, and I think of it as a low pressure system, and we see all this water around here. So the whole thing is about weather related water issues. I see it also as water falling. It can be avalanches as well, it can be mudslides, torrential rains, flooding issues, and things that affect green crops, because this reminds me of paddy fields or green crops that are low lying and get flooded. We can also see new earth movement, so whether that's quakes or volcanic new earth movement, either one of those could be. Volcanoes, mudslides, avalanches. The next card that arrived was the Tower. This card usually makes me think of the Northern Hemisphere. Older buildings, obviously, through that European bloc, even up through to the Middle Eastern bloc, castles, places that have those type of buildings. The last two times that Tower card occurred, I believe we had some relatively large earthquakes in Italy. So I'm thinking it often designates quake-related issues, the Tower card, and quakes up through that Northern Hemisphere part and the older part of Europe, and possibly through to the Middle East areas, Afghanistan, places like that. I also wonder, this is pushing the boundaries a little bit, but it says the Tower, and we know that London has a tower in it, the Tower Bridge, etc. So I wonder if there is anything specific for England in this reading, or even London. The sixth card that arrived was, lucky us, the home card. So we still haven't finished with activity here in New Zealand, I don't think, and in local areas. The home often, I say, is around us, which I include Australia and my Pacific Island neighbours. I do note fire activity in there, and I also do link this fire into Northern Hemisphere fires, because it's in a house and it's in the middle of winter at the moment, which is Northern Hemisphere. So I mentioned earlier in an earlier reading that I believe 2013 is going to be a year of fires. Now whether they're earth-related fires such as volcanic activity, or heat-related earth fires, or building fires, it's almost inconsequential, because one way or another there are going to be a lot of them on the planet this year. So New Zealand, we've got a little bit more activity for us. Also animals affected again in here in the reading. The fires could be down here as well still, which I got the feeling of with the tree card earlier, and also Australia. I checked, I just pulled a couple of cards from the Rider-Waite to validate these, or just see how the balance was for them, and that card in particular matched the cave card. It's almost the dead same energies, that feeling of being trapped and tied in. The good news is that this card indicates a short-term period, and again we do see the water-related issues around it, and the whole being trapped, separated, alone, hidden, not being able to get out. And the second one that arrived from the Rider-Waite was also an indication of people needing to beg for handouts, if you like. So something that creates homelessness again for people. Some people will lose things and that they will need handouts and help and supervision. So guys, that is the February for 2013 reading. One other little thing I wanted to say was, if you're interested in following any of the planet alignments, just Google them. Everything's so easy to find nowadays. You just Google any subject matter you're interested in. There are quite strong planet alignments again for February, I believe. And one other thing that I have noticed personally, which kind of helps me watch and get the feeling of when earthquake movement is coming, on the LASCO series, when you're watching sun activity, related activity, when we see sun diving comets, I usually find within a short period of time we will see quite a major earthquake occur after a sun diving comet activity around the sun. So that's just something for you to keep your eyes on if you're interested in. I follow those sort of things and find that phenomena quite interesting. Hey all, well, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. I hope you're all safe and well and enjoying these energies so far of 2013. Much aroha, kia kaha all, stand tall. Until next time, thanks for watching.